Hold that.
Yeah. So I go through a lot of the laws
animals,
in
man.
a lot of them. Yeah.
You know that's legal in the Western Hemisphere. What do you think about that, man? What do you think about that? Getting married to your pet, man. What? Getting married to your dog, man. It's abominable. It's abomination. But then you got people that say, oh, you're judging. You got people that say, oh, you're judging. It's a free country, they can do what they like. People gotta be destroyed, man. Destroyed. You know what I'm saying? People are demons, man. They got, now the demons is speaking through them, man.
Yeah.
It's not even them that speak, it's a force that speaks. You know what I'm saying? That, some demon, man. They're being possessed. Like Men in Black, you know them little aliens, they possess people, man. And you didn't know it, because the alien was inside of them.
Yeah.
Just like in the Matrix as well.
This is really going on.
Men in Black, I remember what Will Smith, they got a new one, but I think it's going, I haven't seen it, it's got shit. Will Smith live the up, man. He's a demon anyway, but the movie, you know, the aliens, they used to possess people, man. I watched it at a time, but one guy, he took off the skin and it was an alien, man. That's these people out here. They're demons, they look like humans, innit? But it's like, the things that they say, and their beliefs, and their thoughts, they're demons, bro. You know? It's crazy.
Can I bring this out?
They can do what they like. But it's a blatant abomination.
Yeah.
Go on.
There's another one. 24, Leviticus is all about the laws, we know that. 24 says, defile not yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled,
Right.
which I cast out before you.
Right.
And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it. And the land...
Start, read that again, start read that again.
24 of 18, Leviticus 18.
What's the chapter?
Leviticus 18, the laws, yeah? I got problem pronouncing it. Defile not yourselves in any of those things, for in all these the nations are defiled.
Right, so the other nations are defiled, man, because they engage in these practices. Bestiality and all kinds of other abomination. Go on, read up.
Defiled, which I cast out before you, and the land is defiled. Therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it.
Right, so he said those nations were cast out, meaning those Canaanites, man. So before we got hold of that land, the land of Israel, down there in the Middle East, who was inhabiting that land? It was them different Hamitic tribes, man. The proper Africans, man. Now you Jakes, you want to be African so much. If you want to be African, do the things that they were doing, man. If you want to be such a hardcore African, examine the ways of the real Africans, man, and do what they were doing.
And see how far you go.
And see how far where you wind up, man. Because it said that they were defiled, man. So go and defile yourself, man. If you want to be a real African. Back to Africa. Go back to learn the ways of the Canaanites. And different Canaanite nations, man. And different Canaanite, there was like Jebusites, Amorites, okay? Yeah? We had different tribes, man. And they were all engaging in abominable practices. And the Most High cast them out and had us to clean the land, man, and inhabit that land. And establish the law in that land to make that land holy. Because before, it was defiled by those Canaanites. And really, we was meant to, the Most High told us to wipe them out, man. But then we didn't. And then the Most High had those heathen nations to dwell amongst us that test us, man. If you read the book of Judges, to test our loyalty to the Most High. Well, read on.
And the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants. 26. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nations, or any stranger that sojourn among you. For all these abominations have the man of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled.
Right, so you're not meant to engage in those abominations, man. There's certain things, the Most High wants you to live He wants you to be a certain way, man. He wants you to represent Him. He wants you to be in His image. And when you keep His laws, when you keep His word, that's you becoming like the Most High, man. You know when they say like father, like son? You're becoming like the Most High. You're like a miniature version of the Most High on earth, man. Now you're doing righteousness. You know what I'm saying? You're performing righteousness. You're doing righteous works. You're shunning evil. You love the good and you hate the evil. That's how you become righteous, man. You gotta learn to hate evil, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can't be around it, man, because you disdain it. Okay? So give me the scripture I told you to give, man. Nehemiah 10 and 29. Yeah.
They claim to their brethren.
First, start with this.
This is Nehemiah 10 and 28. And the rest of the people, the priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the Nephilims, and all they that had separated themselves from the people of the lands unto the law of the Most High, their wives, their sons, and their daughters, everyone having knowledge and having understanding. Verse 29, they claimed to their brethren, were nobles, and entered into a curse, into an oath to walk in the Most High's law, which was given by Moses, the servant of the Most High, and to observe and to do all His commandments, and the Lord Yahweh, our power, and His judgments and His statutes.
Right. So we just read there how we entered into an oath and into a covenant to keep the Most High's laws and commandments, to separate ourselves from the filthiness of the nations, man. Which goes hand in hand with what the brother has written. Okay? But the point is that I'm trying to make is this. Is that we couldn't keep the righteous laws of the Most High because of the flesh, man. Okay? So that's why we needed Yahweh Shai. That's why we needed Him. This is why we needed the man who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, man. To save us, man. We needed to be saved from the covenant, man. But the covenant was like a curse, man. Give me Galatians, man. Someone give me Galatians. Give me Galatians where it says, the law was like a curse to us, man. Galatians chapter 3, verse 13.
This is Galatians 3 and 13. Mashiach have redeemed us from the curse of the law.
And Mashiach, or the anointed one, Yahweh Shai, has redeemed us from what?
The curse of the law.
From the curse of the law.
Being made a curse for us.
Being made a curse for us. So the law, the covenant, the first covenant was like a curse for us, man. Go ahead.
For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. that the blessing of Abraham might come unto the Gentiles.
Right, but that's the point I was trying to make, is that the law, the covenant, that same covenant that we entered into all those thousands of years ago, that was like a curse for us, man. Because if we don't keep the law, if we don't keep the covenant, all these curses come upon us, man. But we can't keep the law because it's so perfect. So it's like, we're all messed up.
Yeah.
We try to keep the law, but no doubt we're going to break it eventually. Because if we go for one aspect of the law, we're guilty of breaking all of them, man. So it's like, we're all messed up.
Yeah, messed up.
So, the one who you call Jesus Christ, he redeemed us from that, man. He saved us and said, listen, I'm going to give you another means of salvation. You're going to get to the kingdom through belief on me.
God bless you.
What's God's name? What does God look like?
We don't know.
Who's we?
I don't know.
You want to know about God?
I don't know what God looks like.
Do you want to know what he looks like?
He's our
According to what the
salvation.
Bible says. Give me Daniel's 7 and 9.
It doesn't look like a bottle of vodka.
Pardon?
It doesn't look like a bottle of vodka, does it?
Daniel 7 and 9.
This is Daniel chapter 7 verse 9 going.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was as white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
Right, now when you read Daniel's the 7th chapter, right, it was basically a vision that he saw. Now read that again.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was as white as snow, and the hair of his head was like the pure wool.
I don't want to even engage this now.
A bit like mine.
His throne was like the fiery flame,
Yeah, but
and his wheels as burning fire.
he's turned me off. I wanted to teach this. Drop, man. Let's go back, man. Let's go back. We're not dealing with this guy. Go back to where was that? So Galatians chapter
3 and 13. Galatians 3 and 13. Start all together.
I'm not trying to teach. Drop.
Mashayah
Remember.
hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us.
Right, now give me what's it? Give me Psalms. Yeah, give me Psalms chapter 19 verse 7.
Psalms 19 verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
Right, so this is why it's so difficult to live righteously, man. Okay? When we want to, like our heart's desire, we want to find out how to get rid of sin. But sin, we can never get rid of sin until these bodies are changed, man.
Right.
Until the Most High changes this flesh, man. These vile bodies. These bodies that we're living in are not perfect, man. You can try to maintain your body, like try to eat right. But now I'm going to the physical side. When I'm talking about spiritually, these bodies are not perfect. We think wickedness all the time. Even thinking wickedness is sin.
Yeah.
That's what the Lord said. He said, what? He said, if you lusting after a woman, if you already committed adultery, man. He that looketh upon a woman have already committed adultery, because that woman already has a man. she already has a husband. So even looking at that woman lustfully, you've committed sin. You haven't even slept with the woman. But the fact that you lusted after her, you're thinking having sex with her, that's sin. Just for thinking it, man. You haven't even done anything. You haven't even gone over there and said anything to her. But the fact that you're thinking about it, that in itself is sin.
This is Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked.
Yeah. Your mind, man. The heart, the up. Read that again.
The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked.
Right, so it's not talking about your actual heart when you go into the when you look at the word, it's talking about your mind. Your mind is desperately wicked, man. Your mind is thinking all kind of nastiness. Sometimes demons will be telling you to be a faggot, man. Sometimes the demons will be telling you about sodomy and hating a brother, man. You know, thinking some vile shit, man. And you gotta try and bring yourself back to your reality, man. Sometimes you dream vile shit, man. And you can't control your dreams. Your mind is desperately wicked. This flesh is wicked, man. We get sick. We get sick. Mucus, diseases, back problems, arthritis. Blood clots, brain damage, cuts and bruises, aches and pains, colds, hay fever. These bodies are feeble, man.
Yeah, feeble.
Even right now, brothers are just leaning on one side. We're so tired we can't even stand straight. My brothers leaning on. Exactly, doing all this shaking. They can't even stand up.
Yeah.
They're leaning on this side, on that side. Knees is all fucked up, feet is all messed up. Brothers need a massage, man. Brothers need a rough massage, man. This flesh is weak. These bodies are weak and full up of evil, and it's death, man. This body is death. That's what do you think the word mortal means? The word mortal comes from the word mortify, which means to make dead, man. To make dead. That's what the word mortal means. So we're dead. These bodies represent death, man.
Yeah.
These bodies is not in the image of the Creator, man.
Yeah.
These bodies is nothing like the Most High. The Most High took His spirit away from man, according to Genesis chapter 6, man. And that's why we live to like 80, 100 years old, man. We don't live very long, man. With these weak bodies. One.
So 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed.
Wait, don't even read that. I don't want you to read that first. That's I want you to give me Genesis chapter 6. Give me Genesis chapter 6. That's like the finale scripture.
This is Genesis chapter 6. And it came to pass when man began to multiply on the face of the earth.
Right, this is after the flood.
And daughters were born unto them.
So we had daughters.
But the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair. And they took them wives of all which they chose.
Right, so you had Noah, right? How many sons did he have? How many sons did he have? He had 3, right? Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Now the sons of the Most High came out of what lineage? Shem. Noah to Shem. That's where King David, Solomon, all the prophets came from the line of Shem. Okay? Now the sons of men would be who? Ham and Japheth. Right? So the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men that they were fair and started choosing wives of all that they chose. Right? Well,
and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
Now let me say something. Now, who's Japheth? Japheth is the forefather of the Pacific Island people. The Hawaiians. The who? Right? The Samoans, the Aborigines, okay? Thailand, okay? Those Pacific Island people. Ham is the father of like the dark-skinned people of Africa. That the indigenous, the proper like African people, like the people of Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Namibia, okay? Them proper, yeah, exactly, South Africa. I was watching something on, what's this guy, man? Lewis, what's his name?
Louis Theroux?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Tall, straight.
White guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Jew. He's an Amalekite. Yeah.
He went down there and he was interviewing these two criminals in it. One of them, he was a Hamite, man. He was just, if you don't give me, we'll put this knife like this, and you will give us. You know, he was a proper Hamite, man. And you can tell the difference between a Hamite and an Israelite, man. We're not Hamites. But the point is, those Hamite people, that's who they represent. They're like the indigenous people of Africa. The people of Shem. Who comes from Shem? The East Indians, they come from Shem. The Arabic people, they also come from Shem. Esau, the so-called white people, they come from Shem. The Chinese, the Japanese, they also come from Shem. Okay? And we're Shemitic. We come from Shem too. Okay? But there was a lineage, man. There was a lineage. We're the sons of the Most High. Okay? The Most High had a certain seed, man, that he was dealing with. He wasn't dealing with all of mankind. He didn't share his covenant and his laws and his word with everybody on the planet. Okay? So let's go back to Genesis 6. Start from verse 1.
Genesis 6, verse 1. And it came to pass, when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them.
Right.
But the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Right. So we started to sleep with women of other nations, man. We started to see women of other nations, and we started to breed them. You know what I'm saying? We started to have sex with women of other nations and bring forth children. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, but his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days.
So what did they say? It said that the Most High pretty much took his spirit away from us, man, from man.
Yeah.
Okay, because of sin. sin entered in, and that's why the Most High withdrew his spirit away, man. Okay, and that's why he became mortal. Back in time past, we could live forever, man. You had Noah, you had Methuselah, Adam. They could live for like 1,000 years, man. Imagine that. Imagine you on earth for that long, man.
Yeah.
Like you're like 500 years. That's your middle age, man.
Right.
You 500, 600 years. You're basically you just hit your middle ages, man.
It says here Adam lived 930 years.
Yeah.
So Genesis 5:5. All that days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died.
You know what I'm saying? He died because of sin, man. Okay?
Yeah.
900 years. That's a long ass time.
I'll say something. If he was around now, he'd be a mighty man. If you brought him into
Say that again, say that again.
if he was around now today with that kind of strength and stamina, he'd be a mighty man. No one could test him. Just with and he was still limited because he ate the fruit of and he started to get less and less.
You know what I'm saying? That's right. But you see, in the kingdom, we're gonna be like that, man. We're gonna live to see thousands of years, man. There's not gonna be no number to our age. There's not gonna be an actual number to describe how old we are. We're gonna be that old. Okay? We're gonna be immortal.
Yeah.
But that's the point I want to say, that the Most High took his spirit. Read that part again. The second verse.
But the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and he took them wives, and all which they chose. Verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for he that is also is flesh, yet his day shall be 120 years.
Right, 120 years, man. Okay, so that's the average life expectancy of man. Okay. Well,
So Isaiah 65:22. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands.
Just like the brother was saying, because it says that the days of the most people is going to be the days of the tree.
Yeah.
Because you got certain trees that are like 1,000+ years old.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to live. Okay, but in these decrepit bodies that our spirits are immortal, it's not possible. It's impossible.
hey, give me on Psalms 39 verse 4. Psalms 39 verse 4.
Psalms 39:4. Oh Lord, make me to know mine end, and the measure of my days, what it is, that I may know how frail I am.
There you go.
Psalms 39:4. Lord,
Read it slowly.
Lord, make me to know mine end, and the measure of my days, what is it? It's like what it is, that I may know how frail I am.
So you gotta listen to these words, man. Make me to know mine end and to know how frail I am, man. And that was King David.
Yeah.
King David was the mightiest warrior ever to have been written about, man. There was no man on earth that outshined David, man. David was the mightiest of all warriors, a mighty black man. Yeah, right.